managing remote team. I really like this topic because I spent many years managing my team in many countries. And today I would like to discuss with you what does it mean for me to manage remote team and how make it successfully. Work remotely employees number has increased by 1000% since 2005. Amazingly, this number will reach 73% of all workers by 2028. It means that work from home or remote work is a trend right now, and it's gaining value in interest so that knowing how to lead and manage remote team is a must-have for companies, founders and leaders. Handing over tens or even 100 guys who you have seen once or twice face-to-face and who may geographically be thousands of kilometers far from you seem to be an incredible hard task. The statistics I gave you say the opposite things. Growing popularity of remote working proves great benefits for both employees and employers. Today I will tell you how to turn these benefits into effective management and leadership. Hello everyone, my name is Dmitry Bonder and I'm CEO and founder of educational company that works in several countries and several continents. My channel is for those who target their first million in a business. Here I concentrate the best practice and solutions, give recommendations for business owners and startups how to earn their first million. If you run a small business or remote team, I highly recommend to subscribe to my channel, and I provide you with valuable and practical content. In a management of remote team, all the advantages and challenges should be taken into account. So let's start with the advantage of remote business, or with the advantage of managing remote teams. Remote team doesn't demand the regular face-to-face meetings. That means you shouldn't schedule a space and time to gather team physically. You will not be spending money on this. With a cost saving, you will gain an extra time to not organize meetings and secure your time and efforts for more important tasks. Remote team doesn't have place limit. Be ready to hire the best employees, true talents to your team, as you are not obliged to recruit within your local space only. From my experience, when I'm managing several companies all over the world, I know that I have a flexibility to hire who I want to hire and wherever I want to hire, and it's really important. So what conclusion you can make from this? That if you want to hire the best people, try to make a remote structure of your company. Your HR strategy should be leverage the expertise, skills, and achievement of potential workers, as the flexibility in location will increase the number of candidates tenfold. For example, Basecamp founder, who also the author of very good book I highly recommend for you to read or maybe to buy this book. It calls Remote Office Not Required. He wrote this book about his experience, how he worked remotely and how he founded his company based on this approach. So the author of this book hired a lot of people, about 50 employees from around 32 different countries and locations all over the world. He said that he wanted to find the best ones and were happy not to be limited geographically by offering them remote jobs. Work flexibility tops employees' preferences. It's also very important advantage. Take into the account when developing your remote team awarding system. About 20% of employees are ready to give up their vacations, and the same amount will be happy with cutting 10% of their salaries to get a remote, flexible working day in turn. I know from my experience that my wife is ready to stay at home and work remotely, even if her salary will be cut by 10%. Because we have 3 kids, we spend a lot of time helping our kids and driving them to the school. So I know how it's important for working moms and dads to have a flexibility in their schedule. And in this regard, working remotely can help you to do it. Think of unlimited vacation options and relevant things as a benefits and awards for remote employees rather than monetary bonuses. If you plan to build up and manage team remotely, I think it could be a very good strategy for you. Remote workers feel zero distraction at work, so it's also very important advantage of remote work. It's a good thing to focus your leadership on their work's quality rather than number of working hours or days. Shift your efforts to the control and improvement of the task quality and level of expertise, in other words, teaching and learning, rather than trying to control every step of your employees. One of our clients, who is a HR lead at one of the largest telecommunication companies, report that she has achieved 33% increase in sales when launched a mini MBA online program for over 1,000 of company's employees working around the country. With the 25% at offline meetings, she reported 83 of successful graduates learning remotely in the company. So I trust what she said, because we have all our courses online. We don't require our employees to be in one place, and when we have several offices in Eastern Europe, in the United States, in the western part of the Europe, all this educational process, all this business process, they build on a remote work approach. There's also a number of fears and challenges you should take into account in order to manage a remote team effectively. So let's discuss what disadvantage and what fears you can meet while trying to rebuild your company from working in an office to working remotely. First, virtually means geographic dispersion. With the advantage of not to lose your time for meetings, there is still a challenge to keep your remote employees engaged. Including your management strategy at least twice a year face-to-face meetings. This will help your remote team feel as a part of one corporate group, which moves in one direction and has common goals. Second fear, electronic dependence. Your virtual team still has to communicate and have a common space for interaction with the colleagues and client. Think of the best solution to gather your remote team in one place. For example, my company uses Slack as a common platform for all employees. By choosing electronic platform and communication tools, be aware to care about the comfort and easiness in use, accessibility, and support service. Plan to create some open space which will serve an office cooler, a kind of place where all people can chat and discuss what is going on. So in case of the company that I mentioned before, Basecamp, they have a kind of chat room where they can discuss whatever they want. They say the employees are happy to virtual meet and chat, or even drink coffee together, seeing alive and real people behind their mails. And the third disadvantage that you have to take into account, that I can call it unclear team structure. To avoid a stressful situation when nobody in your remote teams knows what other colleagues do and who is responsible for what, a good team structure must be developed. The challenge is much bigger as together with unknown roles of colleagues, each employee usually takes on multiple roles. So some kind of structural support or maybe well described process must be designed, written, introduced and handed out to all remote team members. Include the clear tasks and role description for each position, precise reward policy and communication, information sharing tools. All of this should be very well described, and everybody in your remote team have to be well informed about this policy. And the first point of the first disadvantage, the first fears of remote work is a strict centralization. With almost 100% independence in schedule and work planning, a remote team can hardly be led and managed under strict centralized dictate. If the number of your remote employees exceeds the 1-2 pizzas can feed, it's a kind of Jeff Bezos management style. Then break down them into small teams and decentralize management by granting these teams the freedom to control and measure their tasks themselves. Empowerment is the most inspiring tool to manage remote team effectively. I know from our experience that you have to do your best to give them enough empowerment. And last but not least, there is one more problem that I met before. It's a kind of social loafing. What is social loafing? Social loafing is an absence. It's a kind of absence of colleagues and lack of teamwork may remote employees feel psychologically unsafe. To avoid this, your task is to build a psychologically safe environment. The key elements to include into your management will be a kind of individual feedback, asking and answering the analysis and response, personal brainstorm session in order to empower for creativity and innovative ideas, your personal accessibility to every employees and openness in discussing mistakes and common values. So how does it work in my company? Everybody from our Slack group, from our Slack channel can ask whatever he or she wants. So they know how to find me. They know that if they don't agree with something that is going on in our company, they can ask me and I'm always open. As a very good management, planning to manage a remote team demands much prerequisite work. Taking into account all the specifics in advance and making team work for your benefit will secure you a great team and rapid effect. So I'm a great believer in a remote work, and I have a pretty big experience, at least 7, maybe even 8 years of working remotely. So feel free to ask me any question in comments. I will be happy to help you. Hope my video will help you to get the best employees in your team, keep them inspired and learning and you will avoid a kind of turnover in your company. Please press like thumb up button and support me on Patreon platform that you will find in the description. If you don't want to miss future videos on business lessons and practice, please subscribe. And thank you for your watching, guys.